Imagine an island, lost in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. A place where nature reigns supreme, where volcanic peaks pierce the clouds, and where the modern world feels like a distant dream. TC's Pagan, a remote island in the northern Marianas. And for one man, it's home. For over 2 decades, a man named Ben has lived here, almost entirely alone. He's not a castaway, not a hermit in the traditional sense. He's a man who chose this life, a life of profound solitude and deep connection with nature. What would drive someone to leave everything behind for such an extreme existence? What does daily life look like when your only neighbors are the ghosts of the past and the raw power of an active volcano? Today, we journey to this forgotten paradise to meet Ben and uncover the story of the last man on Pagan Island. Pagan Island is a place of dramatic contrasts. Lush, green jungles blanket its slopes, but underneath lies a heart of fire. The island is essentially 2 volcanoes connected by a narrow strip of land. Mount Pagan, the northern volcano, is one of the most active in the Marianas. Eruptions have scarred the landscape, leaving behind vast fields of black volcanic rock and ash. Yet, life persists, and it's this resilience that defines the island and the man who calls it home. Ben's story begins far from here. He wasn't born into this life of isolation. He lived in the bustling world we all know, but a series of life events, a longing for something more genuine, and a pull towards the untamed beauty of the Pacific led him to Pagan. It wasn't an escape from the world, but rather an escape to a different kind of reality. Arriving on Pagan is like stepping back in time. There are no paved roads, no power grid, no grocery stores. Ben's home is a simple structure, built with materials scavenged and repurposed. His life is dictated by the sun and the seasons, not by a clock. His water comes from rain collection, his food from the land and the sea. Every day is a testament to human ingenuity and endurance. Mornings might be spent tending to his garden, where he grows taro, bananas, and sweet potatoes. The soil, enriched by volcanic ash, is surprisingly fertile. He's a master of self-sufficiency, understanding the subtle cues of the environment. He knows which fish are safe to eat, where to find fresh coconuts, and how to navigate the treacherous volcanic terrain. His connection to the ocean is vital. The turquoise waters surrounding Pagan teem with life. Fishing isn't a hobby for Ben. It's a means of survival. Using a simple spear or a hand line, he ventures into the coral reefs, a world of vibrant color and constant movement. Each catch is a gift, a moment of gratitude for the ocean's bounty. But this life isn't an idyllic vacation. It's hard work. The isolation can be immense. Storms can batter the island for days, cutting him off completely. The volcano is a constant, rumbling reminder of nature's immense power. In 1981, a massive eruption forced the evacuation of all the island's original inhabitants. The villages they left behind are now slowly being reclaimed by the jungle, their remnants a haunting reminder of a community that once thrived here. Ben walks among these ghosts. He explores the abandoned schools, the empty churches, the rusting relics of World War II, which also left its mark on this strategic island. For him, these are not just ruins. They are part of the island's soul, its history. He is the unofficial guardian of Pagan's memory, a living link to its past. You might wonder, what about loneliness? How does one person cope with such profound solitude? For Ben, the island itself is his companion. He speaks of the wind, the waves, and the birds as if they are old friends. His senses are heightened. He can read the weather in the clouds, hear the subtle shifts in the jungle's symphony. He's found a peace that many search for their whole lives in the company of others. He isn't entirely cut off, though. A few times a year, a supply boat might visit, bringing essentials he can't produce himself, like rice, fuel, and tools. These visits are a brief bridge to the outside world, a chance to exchange stories and news. But soon, the boat leaves, and the silence returns. A silence that Ben not only endures but embraces. His philosophy is simple. Live with the land, not against it. He takes only what he needs, leaving a minimal footprint. In a world grappling with consumerism and environmental destruction, Ben's life offers a powerful, alternative perspective. It's a reminder that happiness doesn't necessarily come from what we own, but from our connection to the world around us. He has witnessed the full force of nature. He's seen typhoons strip the trees, bare and volcanic ash, turn the sky dark. But he's also seen the island's incredible ability to recover, new life sprouting from the volcanic soil, the jungle slowly greening again after a storm. This cycle of destruction and rebirth is the rhythm of Pagan, and it's a rhythm Ben has learned to live by. The future of Pagan Island is uncertain. There have been proposals for military use or commercial development, which could forever change this unique ecosystem and Ben's way of life. For now, he remains a solitary figure against a dramatic volcanic backdrop. Ben's story isn't just about survival, it's about choice. He chose a life of solitude, of hardship, of incredible beauty. He found freedom not in having everything, but in needing very little. He reminds us that there are other ways to live, other paths to fulfillment. His life is a quiet rebellion, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the profound peace that can be found in the wildest of places. As we leave the shores of Pagan, the image of Ben waving goodbye, a lone figure on a vast volcanic island, is one that stays with you. A reminder that even in the most remote corners of our planet, extraordinary stories of human existence are unfolding. The story of the last man on Pagan Island is a story of finding paradise, not in a place, but within oneself. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you were captivated by this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more adventures into the unseen corners of our world. We'll see you next time. Jordan wakes us before sunrise. No alarm clock, just instinct. Come, he says. Today, he wants to show us something special. We take a small boat along the coastline. The ocean is calm. The volcano looms behind us, green mountains rising out of black lava scars. This island feels untouched, not rebuilt, not replanted. After World War II, many islands were reseeded by planes, nature artificially restored. But Pagan never touched. What you see here is what Earth decided to grow. Raw, ancient, unedited. We land on another side of the island. Dense forest, thick brush. The air feels heavier here. Jordan leads. Barefoot. Again. We're already sweating. He's completely relaxed. As we move deeper into the jungle, he shows us plants. This one, he says, for toothache. This root, boil it, good for digestion. He rubs a leaf in his hand. Guava. The smell hits instantly. Fresh, sharp, alive. He doesn't just live in nature. He reads it. Every plant has a purpose. Every path tells a story. Then suddenly, he stops. Freezes. There, he whispers. A wild cow? Huge. Horns curved like weapons. He signals us to hide. Climb if you have to. After the 1981 eruption, residents fled. They left their livestock behind. Generations later, their descendants roam, completely wild, aggressive, unpredictable. If one charges, you don't outrun it, you climb. Fast. We hear movement, heavy breathing, branches snapping, and then a bull emerges. Massive easily, over half a ton. It stares. We don't move. My heart is pounding. This isn't cinematic tension. This is real. One wrong step, and it could be over. After a few seconds, it turns and disappears. Into the trees, we exhale. Jordan barely reacted. To him, this is routine. To us, it's a reminder. This island isn't romantic. It's unforgiving. We continue walking. Through jungle, through open green plains, through lava rock. The terrain changes every few minutes. Tropical paradise, then prehistoric forest, then volcanic wasteland. It feels surreal, almost mystical, as if multiple worlds exist on one tiny island. We pass more war relics, Japanese bunkers hidden everywhere. Concrete scars in the earth, history layered beneath beauty. Jordan walks past them without pause. He belongs to the future. Here, not they were. Hours later, we're exhausted. He's not. He climbs another tree, drops down like it's nothing. We laugh. How are you not tired? He smiles. Only if I smoke. He jokes. Then he says something simple. What makes me happy? Moments like this. Big island. Only 2 people. Not 20. Not 10. Just few. Quiet. Space. That's what makes him happy. Not crowds. Not stimulation. Just presence. As the sun starts falling again, we realize something. We depend completely on him. We don't know where we are. No GPS. No signal. If Jordan disappeared right now, we'd be lost. That level of dependence feels strange, uncomfortable. But for him, this is freedom. Tonight, he's taking us to his secret fishing spot. And for the first time, we'll truly see how he survives. No grocery store, no backup, just skill, instinct, and the ocean. As the sun begins to set, Jordan grabs a spear. This way, he says. We follow him along sharp volcanic cliffs. Below us, turquoise water crashing against black rock. No guardrails, no safety ropes. One slip. And that's it. But Jordan walks the edge like he's done it 1,000 times. Because he is, we reach a hidden inlet. Crystal clear water, coral glowing beneath the surface. This is my spot, he says. 100% fish. We laugh. That sounds bold. He steps into the water. No hesitation. No wetsuit. No modern gear. Hoost instinct. Seconds pass. Then, movement. He strikes. Pulls the spear up. A fish. Big. Colorful. Still fighting. He was right. 100%. The second cast. Another fish. Even bigger. We're stunned. This isn't luck. This is knowledge. Generations of understanding. Reading currents. Reading shadows. Reading silence. As we sit on the rocks watching him, something becomes clear. Modern survival is outsourced. We are their food. We tap screens. We swipe cards. Jordan looks at the ocean and sees dinner. Like at Camp Papa Mario, cooks the fish. Barracuda. Fresh. Still warm from the sea. We sit in a circle, strangers 5 days ago. Now, eating like family. Salt on our hands, smoke in the air. Stars beginning to appear. Do you have a bank account? We ask again. No. You ever think about earning more money? He shakes his head. I have what I need. He trades animals for supplies. Sometimes a cow for $100. Sometimes jewelry for food. No savings account. No retirement plan. Just trust in tomorrow. You might be the freest man we've ever met, someone says. He shrugs. Maybe he doesn't think of it that way, but from where we're sitting, it feels true. We ask him his nickname. Jungle Boy. He shows us the tattoo. Jordan the Jungle Boy. It fits. He moves between worlds. Human, animal, spirit, history. Then we ask something deeper. What's your biggest dream? He loads toward the volcano. I want people to come back to Pagan. I want families here again. I want them to try living without internet. For 1 year. No Wi-Fi. No distractions. Just life. He believes modern life is harder. Not this. This is simple food. Shelter. Nature. Modern life. Too many distractions. Too much noise. As the stars take over the sky, we lie down again. Dogs begin barking. Wild pigs move near camp. A massive boar charges in the dark. The dogs chase it off. They're our natural alarm system. Without them, the camp would be chaos. We barely sleep again. At 5:30 a.m., music blasts. Mario, full volume. No concept of quiet mornings. We laugh through exhaustion. This isn't curated adventure. This is real. Unfiltered. But tomorrow, it's our last day. And we're going to ask Jordan one final question. What does it actually mean to live like this forever? Because soon, we're leaving. And he's staying. Morning comes fast. Too fast. 5 days on this island, and we still haven't had a full night of sleep. Dogs barking. Cows roaring like dinosaurs. Wild pigs circling camp. And yet, Jordan looks completely fine. No complaints. No fatigue. Just another day. We sit with him outside his home. The volcano visible behind him. You can see it from his window. Every day. Sometimes we hear it, he says. It shakes the ground. And you're not scared. I'm always ready. That's it. No drama. No fear. Just acceptance. If it erupts, he runs. If a typhoon hits, he hides in one of the 12 bunkers scattered across the island. This isn't survival with safety nets. It's survival with faith. We walk through his home. Simple. Wood. Stone. Decorated with treasures. Old glass fishing floats. War relics. Animal, skulls, rocks, placed carefully for protection. Against bad spirits. Against negative energy. His world isn't empty. It's spiritual. Alive. We ask him something honest. Are you ever tempted to leave? He pauses. Then shakes his head. This is my place. His grandfather raised him on stories of this island. Chamorro stories. Ancestors living in trees. Spirits in mountains. Nature, not separate, but sacred. Jordan believes he's not alone here. His ancestors are with him. Always. Maybe that's the difference. In the modern world, we build houses to keep nature out. Here, he builds life inside it. We scroll endlessly. He watches clouds. We measure success in numbers. He measures it in peace. We ask Joe and Mario something interesting. How would you describe Jordan? They laugh. You'll never fully understand him. He's not human. He's something else. He's thin, but incredibly strong. He can run 3 kilometers barefoot with a bull chasing him. He can climb trees like gravity doesn't apply. He navigates dense jungle without hesitation. He doesn't need Google Maps. The island is in his bones. As afternoon fades, we realize something heavy. We're leaving soon. Jordan isn't. We go back to airports, deadlines, notifications. He goes back to silence. Cows, volcano tremors, and a sky full of stars. We gather him one last time. We ask if he needs anything. A chainsaw, he says. A machete. A cargo ship is coming in a few weeks. We promise to send supplies. Small things to us. Essential to him. We give him a shirt. It says, "Seek discomfort." He smiles. You live it better than we do, we tell him. And it's true. He didn't choose comfort. He chose meaning. He chose preservation. He chose simplicity. Then it's time. No dramatic goodbye. Just hugs. Maybe we'll return, we say. I'll be here, he replies. And just like that, he walks back toward the jungle. Toward the volcano. Toward years of solitude. He disappears into the trees. We step onto the boat. Engines start. Pagan grows smaller behind us. And suddenly, it feels wrong. Like we're leaving something important behind. But the journey isn't over yet. Because the ocean has one more test for us. And this time, it's not calm. We thought the hard part was getting to Pagan. We were wrong. 8 hours. That's how long the return trip should take. Calm seas. Steady wind. Simple. At first, it feels peaceful. The island shrinks behind us. Jordan is already gone from sight, just a green shadow under a smoking volcano. And then the sky changes. Clouds roll in fast. Thick. Low. The ocean darkens. The wind picks up. No warning sirens. No weather alerts. Just nature shifting its mood. Within minutes, waves double in size. Then, triple, the boat begins to slam against the water. Hard an 8-hour ride turns into something else. The captain looks serious now. No jokes. No music. Just focus. The wind screams across the deck. Rain hits like needles. Visibility drops. We're no longer cruising. We're fighting. Waves crash over the sides. Equipment slides. We grab whatever we can hold. The boat climbs, then drops violently into troughs of black water. Over and over. Time stretches. Every hour feels like 3. No one says it out loud, but we're all thinking the same thing. If something goes wrong out here, there's no quick rescue. 18 hours. 18. We finally reach land at 4 o'clock. Exhausted. Soaked. Silent. What should have been routine became survival. Again. And that's when it hits us. Jordan lives out there. Full-time. If a storm like that hits Pagan, he doesn't just endure it for one night. He lives with that uncertainty every season. No Coast Guard minutes away. No emergency infrastructure. Just preparation and faith. Back on solid ground, we look at each other differently. The Triposanti, just about meeting an isolated man. It forced us to confront something bigger. Modern life gives us safety, predictability, backups. But it also disconnects us from risk, from nature, from silence. Jordan lives with risk daily, but he also lives with something we rarely feel clarity. As the sun begins to rise after the storm, we reflect on what we witnessed. A man without a bank account, without Wi-Fi, without a crowd, yet completely rooted, completely calm, completely free. Maybe freedom isn't about having more. Maybe it's about needing less. Maybe loneliness isn't cured by more people, but by deeper connection. To land, to purpose, to ancestry, to stillness. Jordan chose his life, and that choice makes all the difference. The question is, if we stripped everything away, who would we become? And could we handle the silence? This wasn't just a trip to a volcano. It was a mirror, and it forced us to ask, are we actually living, or just constantly distracted? The world is modernizing faster than ever. People like Jordan are becoming rare. But maybe they're not behind. Maybe they're holding on to something the rest of us forgot. La tormenta terminó, pero algo dentro de nosotros seguía moviéndose, porque lo que realmente nos sacudió no fueron las olas. Fue Jordan. Cuando conoces a alguien que vive sin banco, sin señal, sin distracciones, esperas encontrar carencia, pero no vimos carencia. Vimos claridad. Jordan no está huyendo del mundo. Está protegiendo algo, una forma de vida, una herencia chamorro, que casi desaparece. Mientras el resto del planeta corre hacia el futuro, él sostiene el pasado. Y aquí es donde todo cambia, porque este no es solo un hombre viviendo aislado, es un hombre viviendo con intención. Él no está solo, está acompañado por el viento. Los animales son sus ancestros. El volcán, cuando dijo que nunca se siente solo, no lo dijo para parecer fuerte. Lo dijo porque lo cree. La mayoría de nosotros tiene acceso constante a miles de personas a mensajes. Redes han contenido infinito. Y aún así, nos sentimos vacíos. Jordan tiene silencio, y en ese silencio se escucha a sí mismo. Hay algo incómodo en eso, porque si apagáramos todo, ¿qué quedaría? Podríamos sentarnos en completo silencio durante un año, sin Wi-Fi, sin distracciones, sin validación externa. Jordan cree que la vida moderna es más difícil, no por el trabajo físico, sino por el ruido mental. Demasiadas opciones, demasiadas comparaciones, demasiada velocidad. En Pagan, la vida es simple, comes lo que pescas. Proteges lo que construyes. Duermes cuando cae el sol. No hay prisa, no. Hay algoritmo. No hay competencia, solo existencia. Pero no romantizamos esto. Es duro, es peligroso en toros salvajes. Antifones en volcanes activos. Una decisión equivocada, y no hay ambulancia. No hay hospital cercano. La libertad absoluta tiene precio. Y Jordan lo acepta. Cuando nos despedimos, no sentimos que dejábamos a un hombre solo. Sentimos que dejábamos a un guardián. Un guardián de algo antiguo. Algo que el mundo moderno olvidó. La conexión con la tierra, con la identidad, con el propósito. Tal vez la soledad moderna no se cura con más gente. Tal vez se cura con más significado. Tal vez no necesitamos más ruido. Tal vez necesitamos más silencio. Pagan no fue solo una isla. Fue una pregunta. ¿Estamos viviendo, conectados, o solo entretenidos? Y mientras el mundo acelera, personas como Jordan nos recuerdan algo esencial. La libertad no siempre se encuentra en tener más a veces. Se encuentra en necesitar menos. Hay algo que no deja de resonar. Jordan no está desconectado del mundo. Está desconectado del sistema. Y eso no es lo mismo. Muchos dirían que vive atrasado. Pero cuando lo miras de cerca, te das cuenta de que vive adelantado en algo que nosotros hemos perdido. En presencia. Él no mira pantallas. Mira el horizonte. No revisa notificaciones. Escucha el viento. No compara su vida con nadie. Simplemente la vive. Nosotros pasamos 5 días allí. 5 días fueron suficientes para sentir incomodidad, falta de sueño, falta de comodidad, falta de control. Pero para él, eso no es carencia. Es normalidad. Cuando le preguntamos si alguna vez pensaba en irse, su respuesta fue simple. Este es mi lugar. No era terquedad, era pertenencia. Hay una diferencia enorme. Nosotros elegimos viajar allí, él eligió quedarse. Y hay algo más profundo todavía. Jordan no solo vive en Pagan, él mantiene viva una historia. El pueblo chamorro ha existido por más de 4.0 años. En esas islas en colonización en guerra, evacuaciones forzadas, en modernización. Y aún así, él decidió regresar, no para aislarse, sino para preservar. En un mundo que avanza hacia lo digital, él eligió lo ancestral. Mientras nosotros hablamos de volver a la naturaleza como una tendencia, él nunca se fue. Pero aquí viene la pregunta difícil. ¿Podríamos nosotros hacerlo? No de visita, no por contenido, sino para siempre. Sin aplausos, sin audiencia, sin reconocimiento. Solo tú y el volcán. Porque vivir así no es solo valentía física. Es fortaleza mental. Es convivir con el silencio, sin que el silencio te devore. Es mirarte sin distracciones. Es aceptar que nadie está mirando tu historia. Tal vez por eso impacta tanto, porque en el fondo todos intuimos algo, que la libertad absoluta da miedo. Nos gusta la comodidad, nos gusta la estructura, nos gusta la red de seguridad. Jordan vive sin red y sonríe. Cuando el barco se alejó, Pagan se convirtió en una silueta. El volcán todavía respirando. Jordan ya invisible entre los árboles. Y sentimos algo extraño. No tristeza en respeto, porque entendimos que no habíamos conocido a un ermitaño. Habíamos conocido a un hombre que eligió su verdad. Y eso, en cualquier lugar del mundo, es raro. Pero aún queda algo por decir, porque esta historia no trata solo de Jordan. Trata de nosotros, y de lo que estamos dispuestos a enfrentar cuando el ruido se apaga. Hay algo que no puedes evitar pensar, después de conocer a alguien como Jordan. ¿Qué pasaría si todo se apagara? Sin señal, sin electricidad, sin validación, sin distracciones. Solo tú, la mayo, ría de nosotros, llena cada segundo vacío. Música en los oídos, pantallas en las manos, contenido antes de dormir, contenido al despertar, nunca silencio real. y cuando el silencio aparece. Nos incomoda en Pagan. El silencio no es incómodo. Es profundo, no es ausencia. Es presencia. Escuchas el viento atravesando las palmeras, el crujido lejano del volcán, el movimiento invisible de animales en la noche. Tu mente no puede escapar, porque no hay a dónde escapar. Y ahí está la diferencia. Jordan no necesita escapar de sí mismo. Nosotros, muchas veces, por eso llenamos el espacio. Por eso buscamos ruido. Por eso la soledad duele. No por estar solo, sino por estar desconectados. Durante 5 días sin señal, algo empezó a cambiar en nosotros. Al principio fue ansiedad. Después, incomodidad. Luego, claridad. Las conversaciones eran más profundas, las risas más reales, las miradas más presentes. No había interrupciones, solo experiencia. Jordan vive así todos los días. No como experimento, no como retiro, como vida permanente, y lo hace sin resentimiento. Sin quejarse, sin sentirse víctima. Eso es lo que más impacta. Cuando le preguntamos si se sentía solo, no hubo duda en su voz. No fue orgullo, fue convicción, porque él no mide su vida en cantidad de personas. La mide en conexión con la tierra, con los animales, con sus ancestros, con su propósito. Tal vez la verdadera soledad moderna no es la falta de compañía, es la falta de significado. Puedes tener 1000 contactos y 0 conexión. Puedes tener seguidores y sentirte invisible. Jordan no tiene ninguno de esos. Y sin embargo, no está perdido. El volcán sigue activo. Los tifones siguen llegando. Los toros salvajes siguen corriendo. La incertidumbre es constante, pero su identidad no depende del mundo exterior. Depende de algo interno, y eso lo hace fuerte. Quizás la pregunta no es, ¿podrías vivir como Jordan? La verdadera pregunta es, ¿estás viviendo alineado con lo que realmente importa para ti? Porque la libertad no es irse a una isla, la libertad es coherencia. Y eso es más difícil de lo que parece. Aún queda una última reflexión, porque lo que vimos en Pagan no fue solo aislamiento, fue resistencia y eso lo cambia todo. Hay algo que el mundo moderno no entiende bien. Confunde aislamiento con debilidad. Confunde silencio con vacío. Confunde simplicidad con atraso. Pero lo que vimos en Pagan no fue debilidad, fue resistencia. Resistencia cultural, resistencia mental, resistencia espiritual. Jordan no está escapando, está sosteniendo una línea invisible entre el pasado y el futuro. Mientras todo se acelera, él permanece. El pueblo chamorro ha sobrevivido siglos de colonización en imperios, guerras, evacuaciones forzadas, y cada generación tuvo que decidir, ¿nos adaptamos por completo o preservamos algo esencial? Jordan tomó una decisión radical. No preservar desde un museo. No preservar desde libros. Preservar viviendo. Eso requiere algo que muchos no tienen en convicción. Porque nadie lo aplaude. Nadie lo valida. No hay premios. No hay likes. No hay reconocimiento global. Solo coherencia interna. Es fácil hablar de volver a lo esencial. ¿Es difícil hacerlo? Es fácil romantizar la naturaleza. Es difícil enfrentarla todos los días. Es fácil decir que queremos menos ruido. Es difícil apagarlo. Jordan no hizo un experimento, hizo una elección permanente. Y eso pesa. Durante nuestra última noche allí, miramos el volcán. Una vez más, pensamos en el riesgo, en la incertidumbre, en el hecho de que podría entrar en erupción en cualquier momento. Y aún así, él duerme tranquilo, porque aceptó la realidad de su entorno. No intenta controlarlo, convive con él. Tal vez ahí está la lección más fuerte. No puedes controlar el mundo, pero puedes decidir cómo vivir dentro de él. Cuando regresamos al continente. Todo volvió a la normalidad, an señal, a mensajes acumulados, an correos, an ruido, y algo se sintió diferente. No peor, an, no mejor, an solo, más evidente. La velocidad, an, la distracción, la desconexión, no son obligatorias, an son elecciones. Y Jordan eligió otra cosa. Tal vez no todos estamos llamados a vivir en una isla volcánica, pero todos estamos llamados a elegir con intención, a preguntarnos, ¿qué estoy preservando? ¿Qué estoy dejando morir? ¿Qué parte de mí se está perdiendo en el ruido? Pagan fue una isla, pero también fue un espejo. Y lo que vimos reflejado no fue solo a un hombre aislado. Fue una versión posible de libertad, una que no depende del mundo moderno, sino del coraje de vivir coherente. Aún no hemos terminado, porque hay algo que debemos cerrar. Una última reflexión. Have you ever dreamed of escaping it all? Getting away from the 9 to 5 grind, the endless bills, the constant noise of modern life? Well, for one man, that dream became a reality. On a remote volcanic island in the Pacific. This is the story of Jordan, and it might just change the way you think about freedom. Pagan Island is a place most people have never heard of. It's a tiny speck in the northern Mariana Islands, a chain of volcanic islands north of Guam. It's wild, rugged, and almost completely uninhabited. In 1981, a massive volcanic eruption forced everyone to evacuate. For decades, the island was left to nature. Then, Jordan arrived. Jordan isn't your typical island castaway. He wasn't shipwrecked or stranded. He chose this life. He came to Pagan looking for something more, a deeper connection to nature and a different kind of existence. He built his home from scratch, using materials he found on the island. He learned to live off the land, foraging for food, fishing in the rich waters, and growing his own crops in the fertile volcanic soil. Imagine waking up not to an alarm clock, but to the sound of waves crashing on a black sand beach. Your daily commute is a walk through a lush jungle, surrounded by the sounds of exotic birds. Your to-do list isn't filled with meetings and deadlines, but with essential tasks for survival. Checking your fishing lines, tending to your garden, and making sure your shelter is secure. For Jordan, this isn't just about survival. It's about thriving. He's found a rhythm of life that's dictated by the sun and the seasons, not by a clock. He describes a profound sense of peace and purpose that he never found in the modern world. There are no distractions here, no social media, no traffic jams, no consumer pressure, just the raw, unfiltered beauty of nature and the satisfaction of providing for himself. But his life isn't a romantic vacation. It's incredibly hard work. Self-sufficiency means you are responsible for everything. If your roof leaks, you have to fix it. If you don't catch any fish, you might go hungry. There are no supermarkets, no doctors just around the corner. Every day presents a new set of challenges. Storms can be brutal, and the volcano, though dormant for now, is a constant reminder of nature's immense power. This is where the story gets really interesting. Jordan's presence on Pagan hasn't gone unnoticed. The U.S. military has shown interest in using the island for training exercises, a plan that would completely transform this untouched paradise. This has sparked a fierce debate. On one side, you have advocates for conservation and the rights of the indigenous people who were displaced, many of whom dream of one day returning. They see Pagan as a sacred, pristine environment that should be protected. On the other side, there are arguments for national security and strategic importance. Jordan is caught right in the middle of this. His quiet, solitary life has unintentionally become a symbol of resistance. He's not an activist in the traditional sense, but his simple existence poses a powerful question. Who does a place like Pagan belong to? Does it belong to the government, to the people who were forced to leave, or to the nature that has reclaimed it? His story makes us confront our own ideas of freedom. Is freedom having endless choices, a high-speed internet connection, and access to every convenience imaginable? Or is it something simpler? Is it the freedom from those very things, the freedom to be self-reliant, to live in harmony with the environment, and to be truly independent? Jordan's life shows us that true freedom comes with immense responsibility. In our world, we often outsource our responsibilities. We buy our food from a store, hire people to fix our homes, and rely on a complex system for our safety and well-being. Jordan has to be the farmer, the fisherman, the engineer, and the doctor all at once. His freedom is earned every single day through hard work and a deep understanding of his environment. What he's doing is a radical act in today's world. He's opted out of the system that most of us take for granted. He's chosen a life of less, but in doing so, he seems to have found more. More connection, more meaning, and a different kind of wealth that can't be measured in dollars. His story isn't necessarily a call for all of us to move to a deserted island. That's not realistic or even desirable for most people. But it is a powerful invitation to reflect on our own lives. What are we dependent on? What responsibilities have we given up? And what does freedom really mean to us? Maybe we can find a piece of Pagan in our own lives. Maybe it's starting a small garden, learning a new practical skill, or simply spending more time in nature, disconnected from our devices. Jordan's story reminds us that there are other ways to live, and that the most rewarding life might not be the easiest one, but the one we build for ourselves. It challenges the modern definition of progress and asks us to consider what we've lost in our relentless pursuit of comfort and convenience. The future of Pagan Island is uncertain. The fight to protect it continues. But whatever happens, the story of the man who made it his home will endure. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest adventure is finding a simpler way to live. Thanks for watching. If this story made you think, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores the world and the incredible people in it. Let us know in the comments what you think freedom means. See you next time.